Here's the thing, nobody tells you when you first start using ChatGPT. You're not talking to something that thinks. You're talking to something that guesses really, really well. That single idea, that it's a guesser and not a thinker, is the key to everything. It explains why ChatGPT feels magical, and it also explains why it confidently gets things wrong. So let's start with the big reframe. ChatGPT doesn't think the way you do. It doesn't search the internet when you ask it something. And it doesn't truly understand you the way a friend would. It's not Googling for you behind the scenes. It's not pausing to reason like a person. It's doing something much stranger, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. So what is it really? ChatGPT is what's called a large language model. That's just a fancy name for a program that has been trained on an enormous amount of human-written text. Think books, websites, articles, conversations, forums, and code. An ocean of words written by people, fed into a program until it picked up the patterns of how humans use language. Now here's how it actually learned. Imagine reading every book in a library, but instead of remembering the stories, you only remember which words tend to follow which other words. You'd notice that after the word peanut, butter shows up a lot. After once upon, you almost always see a time. The model learned millions of little patterns like that across nearly every topic. It's not memorizing the books, it's absorbing the shape of language itself, the rhythm of how ideas get expressed in words. That's what gets stored inside the model. Now, here is the core trick, and this is the part most people miss. When you send ChatGPT a message, it doesn't write a whole answer at once. It predicts the next word, just one word. Then it takes that word, adds it to what you wrote, and predicts the next word after that. Then the next. Then the next. It builds the answer word by word, like a chain. Imagine your phone's autocomplete, the little suggestion above the keyboard. ChatGPT is doing the same kind of thing, just on a scale that is almost impossible to picture. Now we need a small but important word, token. The model doesn't actually work in whole words, it works in little pieces of words called tokens. A token might be a short word like the, or just part of a word like un, or believe, or able. The model strings tokens together, predicting one tiny piece at a time. So when you ask a question, ChatGPT is really guessing the next likely token, then the next, until it decides the answer is complete. So why does this feel so intelligent? Why does a glorified autocomplete write essays, working code, and full conversations that feel almost human? The answer is scale. When a model has read billions of pages, it has seen so many examples of good writing that its guesses for the next word tend to be very good guesses. Each next word, on its own, is just a probability. But stack millions of those small good guesses end to end, and what comes out looks like thought. It looks like reasoning. It looks like a mind. But here is the catch, and this is the part you really need to know. ChatGPT will sometimes confidently make things up. People call this hallucinating. It might invent a book that doesn't exist, quote a study that was never written, or describe a person who isn't real, all in a calm, confident tone. Why does this happen? Because the model is not looking up facts. It is generating plausible-sounding text. Plausible is not the same as true. And the model has no real sense of when it doesn't know something. There is no little voice inside it saying, "Careful, I'm not sure about this one." It just keeps guessing. So now let's talk about your part in this. The words you give ChatGPT, your prompt, set the context. And that context strongly shapes which guesses come next. Ask vaguely, and you get a vague guess. Ask clearly, with examples and a tone you want, and the next words it predicts will lean in that direction. So if the answer feels off, it often isn't the model being broken. It is the model honestly responding to a prompt that left too much room for guessing. So let's bring it all together. ChatGPT is a program trained on huge amounts of human text. It learned the patterns of how words follow each other. It works in small word pieces called tokens. It predicts the next one, feeds its own answer back in, and keeps going until the response feels complete. At a big enough scale, those tiny guesses look like real thinking. And at the same scale, they can also produce confident, fluent nonsense. Same trick, both outcomes. So the next time it dazzles you, and the next time it gets something embarrassingly wrong, remember the one idea. It is a very, very good guesser, not a thinker. If you liked this, subscribe to Tech, Actually, for simple explainers on AI, tech, and how things actually work. See you in the next one.